All right, let's dive in. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest, most crucial challenges for any entrepreneur out there, raising capital. We're going to break down the insights of venture capital investor Aleksei Olin and turn it into a clear guide for any founder trying to navigate the super complex world of funding. Let's get right into it.
This is the question. According to Olin, this is the single most common thing he's heard from founders for over 15 years, whether he's in Moscow, Berlin, or Singapore. It's the fundamental problem we're going to solve in this explainer.
And boom, here's the answer. An answer that completely flips the whole conversation on its head. See, it's not about the cash. It's about convincing someone to really truly believe in you. This one idea, that trust is the real currency, is the absolute key to unlocking everything else.
So let's start right there, with this core principle, the real currency. Because if you think your goal is just to go out and ask for money, you've kind of already lost. You're actually asking for something way more valuable.
You know, what's so great about this is how it breaks trust down into real, tangible parts. It's not some vague, fuzzy feeling. No, it's a calculated belief in three specific things: your team's ability to actually get it done, your story's power to persuade, and your numbers' connection to reality. That's the real goal.
Okay, so you know you need to build trust.
Here's the thing.
Trust can mean different things in different places. And that brings us to our second section here, the global funding landscape. Because before you can ask for trust, you really need to understand the map.
And wow, this table really illustrates just how different those worlds are. Look at the US. You've got seed rounds of $2 to $3 million with these aggressive valuations, all based on vision. Now compare that to Russia and the CIS region, that's the Commonwealth of Independent States, where seed rounds are way smaller, maybe 200 to 500,000, and investors, they demand proof, not just potential. Asia, it's somewhere in the middle, totally driven by hyper-competition and just raw speed.
And this is just the perfect summary of that whole complex table. It's a really powerful way to think about it. Are you selling a grand vision, incredible speed, or are you selling bulletproof resilience? Your pitch has to speak the right language to the right investor. It's that simple.
Okay, now we get to the heart of it all. What do investors really look for? You understand the landscape, you know the currency is trust, so let's look at the universal signals that actually build that trust and prove that you're a good bet.
Olin says this is the one every single founder has to be able to answer. It forces you to stop thinking about your own great idea for a second and start thinking from the investor's point of view. They're taking a huge risk on you. So, why is it worth it?
And here they are. These are the 5 universal signals they're looking for in your answer. Is your team complete? Do you have traction? Even just a few paying customers. Can you actually defend your business? Do the numbers work? And this one's huge. Do you know what you don't know?
This story is just a brutal but absolutely perfect example of that last point, risk awareness. The science was Nobel Prize level stuff, but the founder's refusal to own his blind spots? Total deal killer. Investors will forgive risk. They will never, ever forgive denial. The point is, you have to be the one who's thought through all the risks.
So you know what investors are looking for. Now, let's talk about how you package it all up and present it. This is about choosing the right financial tools and, maybe even more importantly, crafting the right story.
This slide basically lays out the typical fundraising journey. You start with small checks from angels and family just to get some validation. Then you move on to things like convertible notes for your seed round to prove you've got traction. And only then do you face the heavy-duty due diligence of institutional VCs for your Series A. Every tool is for a different stage of the game.
But here's the catch. Choosing a tool always involves these critical trade-offs. Convertible notes are fast, yeah, but you might give away way more of your company than you realize down the road. And a strategic investor from a big corporation, they can open incredible doors, for sure, but their terms might lock you in and prevent you from working with their competitors.
This quote just perfectly captures the lesson from that last slide. The easiest money to get right now might not be the best money for your company in 3 years. See, the goal isn't just to get a check. It's to find a partner who is genuinely aligned with your long-term vision.
And this is such a critical transition. You can have the perfect term sheet, flawless unit economics, but if you can't weave it all into a compelling narrative, it's just not going to connect. Numbers inform, but it's the story that convinces an investor to take that leap of faith with you.
And this right here, this is the ultimate test for your story. Can you strip away all the jargon, all the buzzwords, the disruption, and just explain the core problem you solve so simply that anyone can get it? If the answer is no, you're not ready to pitch. Clarity is everything.
Now, these principles we've been talking about are pretty universal, but building trust can have some really unique obstacles depending on where you're from. The source material specifically highlights this with our next section, the CIS Founders Challenge. Let's take a look at those hurdles.
So the problem's pretty clear. International investors get nervous about currency risk, political perceptions, and the fact that there aren't a lot of big exits in the region. And the solution? Well, as Olin points out, it's a pretty well-established one: structure globally. By setting up a holding company in a stable place like Delaware or Singapore, you send a very clear signal. You're saying, hey, we play by global rules.
And as we start to wrap up, it's so important to reframe this entire goal. So many founders just burn themselves out trying to get that first big check, thinking they've won. But the truth is, funding isn't the prize. It's just the fuel you need to start the actual race.
So we end right where we began, but now, hopefully, with a much deeper understanding. Every slide, every number, every single word in your story is just an answer to this one question. It all comes back to trust. Your job isn't to sell an idea. It's to prove to the person sitting across the table that you are the one who can turn their risk into a remarkable reward.